What's going on, everybody? It is your man Cleveland Terry, and today we're going to be discussing the newly released Rekordbox 5.6.1 with, of course, the most important features that they've announced, streaming audio. So today we're going to talk about the differences between Rekordbox version versus Serato's version and to see if one is better than the other. All right, let's take a look. By the way, if you're looking at me and you think something looks different, well, I'm not wearing a hat today. Now, there's nothing wrong with me wearing hats. There's nothing wrong without me wearing hats. I just tend to prefer to wear hats. I just didn't want this to become a weird LL Cool J thing where it's always the dude in hats and he finally takes it off and it's like, what the hell is that thing? So I'm gonna get you used to both of them. I have spent a lot of time discussing SoundCloud Go. I think I did the same thing last time. I have taken a lot of time with SoundCloud Go on the Serato version, and you saw those videos. If you don't remember seeing them, you can find them here. I go into detail about SoundCloud versus Tidal, which one I liked, the reasons why I liked or didn't like them. So we're not going to talk too much about that, but we are going to talk about what I see in Rekordbox. Now, SoundCloud isn't the only available music streaming service. They also came out with Beatport Link. So we're going to take a look at Beatport Link also. So we're going to go ahead and sign up for BeatLink. Same thing as the other ones. You start your 30-day trial. They're all pretty much priced around the same, $10, $15, depending on which one you get. So Beatport is a little more expensive at $14.99 than SoundCloud Go, which is at $9.99, and Tidal, I believe, is at $9.99 too. I'll put it up if I'm wrong, but I think SoundCloud and Tidal are about the same amount. So we're gonna go ahead and sign up for the 30-day trial for Beatport, just so we can talk about both of them equally. Okay, so let's pull this up. So just so you can see what I'm doing here. Start 30-day trial. Start 30-day trial. I'm gonna assume that the reason we're getting this delay is because everybody and their mama is signing up for Beatport right now. And that's why we're getting this weird login delay here. So there we go. Now it's finally up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start our trial. Oh, by the way, as you see here, you have two different options with Beatport. You have the one that's just $14.99, which follows along with Tidal and SoundCloud Go, where it's streaming only. Then you have the $39.99 version, which includes an offline locker, which you can store up to 50 tracks, and a higher bitrate output for your songs. $14.99 to $39.99 is a tad bit extreme in my opinion. It's just, I think they could have done a better price. I think that price should have probably been maybe $10 more, but to jump up, it's a lot. I wouldn't personally pay $39.99 for an offline locker of 50 songs. That's just a waste of money to me. And then of course for $59.99, you can get an offline locker of 100 tracks. So if you want to pay that monthly, so be it. I'm not even going to attempt to do that. I'm going straight to the $14.99 because even if I start the $39.99 trial, realistically speaking, I'm not going to continue to pay for that. That's silly to me. I don't use streaming services as my main music database. I use it as a kind of catch-all. If there happens to be a song or two that I don't have, I can go online and I can pull it real quick and play it. That is not supposed to be the savior of my DJing. It's just supposed to be supplemental. So I would never sign up for the $39.99. It's just not me. You, on the other hand, might be a little different. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this 30-day trial, the $14.99 version. Connect Beatport Link. We DJ Rekordbox. Obviously, it's Rekordbox. Connect Beatport Link. Yeah, this thing is running dog slow right now. So I'm not getting what I want right now, which means we're gonna have to come back to this one. So while we are waiting for this, let's go to SoundCloud Go. Okay, so SoundCloud Go has just like Serato, and I'm gonna demonstrate with Serato right now. With Serato, you have SoundCloud, you got your albums, your like tracks, your playlists, yada, yada, yada. You move over to here and you got the same thing. Right off the bat, there is something different here because you can see in Serato, you have albums, like tracks, playlists, new, and dope mixes, which are playlists that I created myself. In Rekordbox, you have the same thing with the playlist and everything, but then you also have albums, and you have following. I guess people I'm following with their music should be in there too. So if I click over here to Tico, you should see his music right here, and probably stuff that he's added himself, which is kind of a nice feature. And then you have the history, basically things that I have played through SoundCloud Go. So that's a cool little feature here. That is not in Serato. Now, of course, it's probably not something that they can't just add in at some point, but it's not there right now. So let's go back to SoundCloud. One of the things that I noticed in SoundCloud though, which is kind of cool, is again, they have this little charts option here. And in the charts, you can scroll down and you can minimize and maybe filter down to a very specific type. So if I go to pop, it's going to give me what it thinks is the, I guess, hottest pop tracks. They don't look that hot, to be honest with you. I mean, I got Dark Horse, Juicy J, which hasn't Chandelier. Like, none of these tracks have been hot forever. So I'm not really sure what they consider or how this is filtered into this top 72. I'm sure it's probably still loading right now. But as you can see, it's Photograph. I mean, there's a lot of songs which I would consider to be a lot better than this that aren't being listed anywhere in here. So that's a little odd to me. It's a good feature to have, but it's only a feature if it's relevant to what's happening now. Pop is pop, and pop should be whatever's popular right now. Like right now, is it strange that I don't see Taylor Swift anywhere in here? And she's the poppiest of the pop. So that's a little odd to me. So this is something that's not in Serato. Now, maybe they looked at it and said, there's a reason why it's not in Serato, because what you consider to be popular aren't really popular. So let's not even add that in there because it just doesn't make any sense. But at least it's in here. I mean, 7 years, Lucas Graham. I don't know where they're getting this pop music from. This stuff is old, old, old. So let's load in a song. Let's do Shape of You because I haven't loaded that one in yet. And we are loading, timing it out. Let's do a little timer. Okay, so it loaded relatively quick. Obviously, just like the same case before, it has to load the entire file. Now here's the problem with SoundCloud, and to me, it's the deal breaker. Now here's the thing. In Tidal, there's a whole bunch of explicit versions. Now the thing about Tidal is, if it doesn't say explicit, it's clean, it's radio friendly. So that's how I know automatically that I can play that song on a corporate or on a private party. But if I go back to SoundCloud, add Bougie, here's my list of songs for Bad and Bougie. Tell me, do you see anything with Migos in this list yet? And we're still scrolling, we are still scrolling, we are still scrolling. So, let's add Migos in. I don't have an original Bad and Bougie. And I'm also not a fan of the fact that it keeps having to load as I get to the bottom. It should be loading as is. So, right now, I have no way of knowing which one is the real Bad and Bougie. Migos. Okay, so this is the one right here. What the hell is this? Oh, and then it stopped on me. Jesus. So let's see what this version is. Huh. Definitely not a clean version. Okay. Now, once again, go back to this one. And the one that does not say Migos explicit, same from the same album Culture. Let's see how Tidal does. Hey, look, clean. Okay, so as you can see here, that's a problem for people like me. It may not be a problem for you, especially if you're just doing clubs and you don't care about clean versions of songs, but if you do anything besides clubs, you're gonna need clean versions. And Tidal gives you clean versions. SoundCloud Go not only doesn't give you clean versions, but they give you stuff that you can't even guarantee is the right song. I've said this in my previous video, I'm gonna say it again, SoundCloud needs to get their act together when it comes to this. If they wanna do this for DJs, if this is really what they wanna do, they gotta do a better job of categorizing music, filtering out the BS that is not necessary. Give us a filter feature. Maybe you have something that says label only selection. So when I search for Lizzo, it only gives me the label versions of them because I don't wanna play Bad and Bougie and get some dumbass remix from someone I never heard of. Because the people that came to hear me don't want to hear that version either. They want to hear the real version. We're not getting that here. So SoundCloud to me is still problems. It's still problems. I've gone through, to be fair, I have been using Tidal as my backup, and pretty much every song that I've ever searched for within Tidal streaming has been there. I'm not getting that same result when I search in SoundCloud. So let's take a look at Beatport. Now we know that Beatport specializes in EDM, house, Afro, all of those electronic vibes. So I'm not assuming that it's gonna come out with a lot of hip hop stuff. However, I would have assumed that it would have something. But like right now, I'm not getting anything under Lizzo, not even in a remix for that, which is very weird to me. So we're gonna go up here. I will tell you one thing that I do like a lot. I like the fact that both SoundCloud and Beatport are actively working. With Serato, you have to choose one or the other. Either you're using SoundCloud or you're using Tidal. But in Rekordbox, you have the option to use both at the same time. So I think that's really, really cool. And it could be because it's just such completely different genres, and maybe that's their little loophole, but it's available. That's great. Let's try Chris Lake. He's a big EDM guy. So Beatport is not popping up. So let's go into Beatport. Let's type in Chris Lake. And now Beatport, a whole bunch of stuff pops up under him. So it looks like the search is not universal. It's pulling up SoundCloud, but it's not pulling up Beatport. If you want to search in Beatport, you actually have to go to the Beatport file structure and then search from there. And then as you can see, he pops up. If I go to SoundCloud, that's really interesting. So each streaming service has their own search function, and it's independent of the main search, and it remembers that. So that's kind of cool. It's not cool that I can't search in my search all and get Beatport music, but I can with SoundCloud. So that's maybe a bug, something they need to fix. But right now, here's your Chris Lake. Let's load it up. Track loading error. I'm gonna check my speed. Roughly 40 down, 47 down. So well within the speeds. It should be able to pop this out in no time. So it's struggling a little bit with this. Well, I don't want to say a little bit. It's struggling a lot of bit. It's not doing it at all. So let's load something else. Let's load this one, Fantasy. Track loading error. Okay. Track loading error. So let's go to SoundCloud and make sure that it's not something that is very specific to this. Let's type in Chris Lake under SoundCloud. And okay, it's got the same remix. Let's add this in. Analyzing and loaded. Okay, so clearly something's wrong with Beatport. I wish I had an answer, but I don't. So it's not something that I can truly test. But I will tell you that obviously, if you're using Beatport, you're looking at it from an EDM perspective, EDM, house, Afro, all that stuff, all that good stuff that's in the genres. I mean, Afro house, bass house, big room, breaks, all the EDM stuff. So if that's what you're looking for, you really don't have a lot of options besides that. And maybe you'll find a little more with SoundCloud because it seems to be a little more open-ended with remixes. I think I was getting a good deal with Tidal. Let's see here, Chris Lake. And there's a whole bunch of Chris Lake remixes. Let's load them up. Load it up super fast. And we're good to go. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna close Rekordbox. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. Beatport, make sure we're good. Okay, let's type in Chris Lake. Okay, lose my mind. Let's load it in. Track list, oh, yeah. So there's absolutely nothing I can do with Beatport right now because I am getting a track loading error. I'm gonna assume that maybe it has to do with the fact that it's brand new and everybody's in there and they're all hitting the servers. But having said that, on a Saturday night, you're going to assume that the same amount of people are hitting those servers. So if it can't sustain itself right now, I don't know if I have as much confidence on a Saturday night, Friday night, Sunday night, whatever. But it's there, it's available. It has the Beatport library. The $14.99 version gives you everything that the $39.99 version gives you, except you don't get to store them locally on your computer. So that's one issue you're gonna have to deal with. Ultimately, Rekordbox and Serato are doing virtually the same thing. It feels a little more duct taped together in Rekordbox versus Serato, which feels a little more fluid. I mean, I like the fact that in Serato, you know, when you go over and you hit the search button, you can turn it off and only look at your local folders, or you turn it back on again and it gives you everything that's in that particular streaming service. I like to be able to filter that out if I'm not looking for that. You don't have that option, at least right off the bat from what I'm seeing. You don't have that option in Rekordbox. It's kind of an all or nothing. In the all search function, if you've played the song before, when you search, it will populate itself into the main search. If you've never played that song, it's not gonna show up, and then you have to go right back into the SoundCloud, then search under, you know, Chris Lake, and then it's gonna give you all the Chris Lake songs. But in the search all, you don't have that option. So there's no option to search all from within Rekordbox that I can see. But I guarantee you, if I load in this track right here and I play it, and then I go out of it, and then I load Chris Lake again from the catch-all when I type correctly, and then there it is. So if you've played the song before, it shows up in your folder, but if you haven't played the song, it's not gonna show up. So I'm a little bit disappointed in what I'm seeing so far. I'm a little bit at odds because while I don't think anybody should use streaming as their only music catalog, I do find a benefit in it, especially for those emergency times when you just need a song, you're never gonna play that song again, and you need to play it now. That's a really good option to have. If I have to play a song more than once or twice, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna download it from one of my BPMs or DJ City. But if it's once somebody asks for some song I'm never gonna play again, that's where streaming services are absolutely perfect. You don't have to try to rip them from YouTube or any of that crap. You can just pull it right on and you have a nice, good version of the song. So I'm a little sad that in Rekordbox, because I've been using Rekordbox a lot more. I still use Serato, but I've been using Rekordbox a lot more. And the ability to be able to, quickly throw on some songs, I don't feel that you're gonna get that with SoundCloud Go. I think out of all the streaming services, SoundCloud, Tidal, and Beatport. I think Tidal is by far the better out of all of them currently. There's an opportunity for them to get bigger, but right now they're not up to speed. So we're still limited in what we're using here. Hopefully they negotiate a deal where they can get Tidal in there, because I think Tidal is the best. And I would love to have Tidal in Rekordbox. Maybe this week I'll show you my hack in order to get Tidal in if you need to in an emergency. All right, guys, if you found what I said here useful, hit that like button. If you found what I said here really useful, hit that subscribe button. I got many more videos on the way, and always a pleasure that you guys come check me out. For all you new subscribers, thank you so much for hopping on board. I appreciate all of you. So guys, if I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace.